Yo, I'm Brendan. A lot of people are talking about paycheck routines nowadays, and it sounds like a good idea, but it's not. They overcomplicate budgeting and basic finance management into 10 steps you must follow to get rich. Ridiculous. If we want to be wealthy enough to afford as many burritos and race cars as our hearts desire, our paycheck routine is already too late. By definition, waiting to decide on where your money goes when you get a paycheck is how to stay broke. Today, I'm going to show you that you only have to do 3 things instead of a whole paycheck routine. Number 1, decide what your plan is long before you ever get a paycheck. Number 2, how you're going to get there. And number 3, put systems in place to make that happen. Easy. That's what we're going to do today, so let's get started. I'll be totally frank with you right now. Step 1 is the hardest part. Deciding where your money's going to go, what you're going to do with it, what your plan is the hardest part. But if you get over this, the other 2 are super easy. Now I'm going to make some people upset because I'm going to divide all of us into 2 camps. The majority of us just want to spend as much money as possible. That's our emphasis. We want to live for today. We just want to save a tiny little bit on the side because we're supposed to and because maybe it'll matter someday. Then a tiny little percentage of us over here want to reach financial freedom as quickly as possible. Pick which team you're on. Right now, draw a line in the sand and say, I don't really care about saving and investing that much. I just want to live. Just leave me alone. Simplify this for me. Can I just go out and have vacations and buy cool stuff? Okay, you're on team spending. Own it. No, you won't retire before 65 and live for today. Now you can move on to step number 2. If instead of that, you want to reach financial freedom ASAP, awesome. Gird your loins.
All right, everyone, gird your loins.
Because you're going to do some weird stuff and you're going to get pushback from family and friends. But that's because those family and friends are on team spending and they haven't seen someone do what you're going to do here. They've never watched somebody race towards financial freedom with every fiber in their being, and so they'll be kind of thrown off by this. They'll think you're a weirdo. You can also now move on to step 2. Hello and welcome to step 2. Now we've got to figure out how we get to our dream outcome. What do we need to do to flesh out a plan here? Well, team spending, 95% of you need to make your life easy and simple when it comes to money so you can focus on having fun with it. That's the whole aim here. That's why we make money, right? I can't give you financial advice because I'm just some weirdo on the internet, but I say plan on saving 3 to 5% of your take-home pay for a rainy day and save another 3 to 5% for retirement. That can be especially potent if you get a match for something like your 401k at work because that amount quickly becomes 6 or 10%, which will actually help you retire someday. So that's really good. You won't have to work literally until you die. Even though those numbers are probably smaller than I'm comfortable with and smaller than what you see other people talking about online, the average American only saves about 3% of their income, which is totally ridiculous. So even though you're only saving 5 or 10% of your take-home pay between cash savings and retirement, you're still doubling or tripling the average. Stick to the plan, don't falter. Move to step 3. Hello, Team Financial Independence. Welcome to the hard road. You have chosen the road of miserly optimization, my friend, midnight spreadsheets, and just ordering water whenever you go out to restaurants. The journey to financial freedom. As rarely traveled as this path is, it has actually been trod before, and people have literally made a roadmap to optimize this path. I have shamelessly stolen this from Reddit, and it's your new Bible, Quran, instruction manual. It's your financial heartbeat. It is your map of your financial life from now until the day that you reach financial independence, and then you can tell me to go pound sand. Learn it, love it, study it, ingest it, make it one with your very soul, because if you do this, you'll be financially free in no time. When most Americans literally never become financially free and have to work until they die, you'll have all the options in the world in the coming years. Some people, when they follow this and get serious, reach a financial inflection point in as little as 3 years if they have a healthy income. Others might take 10 or 15, but in any case, you will experience life like few others by sticking to this plan. Now you also can move on to step 3. Hello all, welcome to step 3 where we create systems to make our plans happen. First off, I don't care whose team you're on. Automation is the way. It takes all the guesswork and the discipline out of doing this, and it removes the need for any kind of paycheck routine. You don't need it. First up, team spending. Those of you living la vida loca, enjoying life, squeezing all the juice out of it. You have literally 2 moves to make this week, then you don't have to think about anything money related for the rest of your life. So, step 1, set up your retirement contribution to happen automatically. For a lot of us, that's just talking to the HR person at work, saying I want to put in X percent in my 401k, whatever it is, 3, 5, 10%, whatever you decide. And the beautiful part of this is that it can't even be a part of a paycheck routine because 401k contributions are taken out before tax. So you never even see the money or have a chance to spend it on burritos and race cars. Can't routine it if you can't see it. The next and final step is to set up that other 3 or 5% that you're saving to be transferred into another account of your choosing. Maybe it's invested, maybe it's saved, whatever you want to do with it, that's totally fine. If you want to make more money over a long period of time, invest it. If you want to keep it to be able to spend at any moment's notice, then put it in a high yield savings account or maybe some CDs. Boom, done for forever. Now, all you have to do is work your job, enjoy spending 95% of your money, and forget paycheck routines ever existed. Mwah. Routine schmootine. Ooh, poutine would be yummy right now. Welcome to step 3, team saving. As a team, you have a lot more work to do because you are following the prescribed method of optimizing your every single dollar. You've got a lot more than 2 steps. You've got 3 whole categories of stuff to do. So the first category is to dive headlong into that flowchart I mentioned here before. Follow each step, knocking out every milestone before moving on to the next one. Hear me out when I say you cannot skip a step. You have got to start at step 0. You've got to make a budget. You have to figure out what works for you, whether that's a spreadsheet, whether that's paper. It could be an app. I don't care what you use. You have got to do this. Then you have got to build an emergency fund. Get at least 1 to 3 months of your living expenses saved up in something like a savings account so you can access it. Do not go on to the next step before this. If you're investing, stop. Go back and do this first. You've got to follow the steps in order. I think you feel me. The second category of things to do after you get super familiar and cozy and sleep in bed with that flowchart is to cut your spending as much as possible. Cook all your meals at home. Downsize your car and maybe your house. Cut up your credit cards so they're harder to use. Get extreme here. Do whatever it takes. And what some people don't realize is this step actually has a twofold benefit. The first one is the obvious one. Well, of course, if I'm spending less, that gives me more margin in terms of my leftover paycheck amount so I can invest all of that. Duh. We all get that, Johnny. The second benefit people don't understand from this is that you could potentially lower your lifestyle for forever. Whenever you cut back and you get used to cutting back, you realize, hey, maybe I'm okay. I don't know why I was buying so much stuff before because I actually have a huge crap ton of stuff around me and I don't need to keep buying stuff. It's a beautiful thing to realize that what you need is already in front of you. You have everything that you need. You lack nothing. If you have food, water, clothing, shelter, and relationships around you, what else could a human want, right? That's our mentality when it comes to retiring as early as possible, or at least reaching financial freedom as early as possible to give you all the options in the world. But that's not it. This is the hard road. You didn't think you were done yet. The whole third category here is so much more ambiguous and difficult to spreadsheet and design because it totally depends on you and what you're doing with your life right now. But this third whole chunk of what you've got to do to reach financial independence as quickly as possible is while you're doing all that other stuff, flow charting, expense cutting, all that stuff, study up on how to increase your income. How can you add more value at your current job? How can you pick up a second job or a side hustle to make your income grow? The income number you have is the biggest single tool you have to move yourself towards financial independence. For example, no matter how much you scrimp and save and live cheaply, if you make $30,000 per year, it's going to be a lot harder for you to save and invest a substantial amount of money compared to someone making 300 grand per year. Some people say it's like you've got a bigger shovel. You can do more digging that way. I think that's a goofy analogy because we're not digging a hole here. We're trying to build something. We're building a city. We're building a house. We're building upwards and outwards. I see my dollars as like little employees. All these little guys are like little workers who go to work for me. They do my bidding and they multiply. They're like little rabbits that have babies, and then the babies go to work, and then those babies have babies, and everybody just keeps having sex and multiplying and making money. Please keep my channel monetized, YouTube. It seems like an obvious thing to encourage you to have a higher income to be able to retire faster or just reach financial independence faster, but a lot of people get hung up on their limitations. They say, oh, well, we don't have any promotions at my job, so I can't change my income. Oh, well, I don't think I could get an extra job because I'm so tired after I currently work. Look, if you want to live with excuses instead of living on a beach somewhere, that's fine, but you've got to realize that now and say, I'm not going to actually retire as fast as possible. If you want to go after this thing super hard for 3 to 5 years and then have all the options in the world and live with your excuses, then fine, move in with your excuses. But by then you can afford them because you've already reached financial independence. A word of caution to those of us who are on team saving. I was for a number of years. I would say I'm not quite on that team anymore. It's harder than it seems because it's so freaking boring. It's not exciting to cut back your expenses. It's not exciting to push for more money at work, even though when you get the more money, that is exciting. And it's not exciting to watch your investing account slowly grow over time. Even if you're going at absolute light speed on this thing, it still feels like the needle's moving pretty slowly. Because let's say you're investing $4,000 a month. That's really exciting. Your account goes from $100,000 to $104,000 next month. Then the month after that, it goes to maybe $109,000. Then it goes to 112. Oh, the stock market has a hiccup, goes back down to 105. Like you see, it could take you 6 months to make $10,000 or $15,000 worth of progress, and that gets kind of boring. It gets kind of slow. So you've got to keep the big picture in mind. You've got to have this thing really thought out from day one and say, look, I'm not going to let up. I'm not going to come up for air until I reach my destination. Yeah, people are going to think I'm weird because I'm picking up extra shifts or I'm working another job when my primary job maybe pays me $100,000 per year. Why are you working on the weekends, Steve? That's super freaking weird. Well, you know what's weird? Being able to retire early. You know what's weird? Having financial independence in your 30s or 40s. That's weird. You know what's normal? Being overweight, broke, divorced, unhappy, depressed, unhealthy. So do you want to be normal or do you want to be weird? I think in this case, weird's okay. And I didn't come here today to pick fights. I think if you've got a paycheck routine that you love, that's helped you a bunch, by all means use it. Good for you. I'm of the opinion, as a former personal finance addict, that sometimes we make things more complicated than they need to be. If you want to live life for today, set things up automatically to happen and then live life for today. If you want to save and invest to get financial independence as soon as humanly possible, then put your head down and get to work. Stop fiddle-faddling around and talking about optimizing and what account is best and what about this tax strategy. Get to work. Stop playing on Reddit. Stop playing on the calculator. Stop messing around and go deliver pizzas or do whatever you got to do. Well, thanks for watching. Here's the next video you should watch. Bye.